All right, and we are live, and welcome to another episode of Alive with Chris Austin, Illuminating Humanity. So, happy holidays, everybody, because I took last week off because I am another year older since I have seen everyone. I turned 41 years old last week, so I took the week off, and I want to welcome everyone back to the show and hope you had happy holidays and the new year is coming your way. Before I introduce our guest this week, I want to take a moment to share this to a couple different pages to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to see it. I'm still having those technical difficulties with Zoom and Facebook. For some reason, it will not broadcast on my business page. So here we are on my personal page, and I'm going to do my very best right now to share it to my business page. And that is done and complete. And I'm also going to share it. Let's see if I can share it. It might be on her page, but we'll see. So here we are to another episode, and I want to introduce you tonight because I'm extremely excited to have this week's guest on here, Alicia Hugh Fisher, who is the founder of The Hive. And I cannot wait to talk to you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so happy to be here.
All right. So Alicia is the founder of The Hive. And I'm going to read what this says because it says, The Hive is one heart, one movement, one vibration. And it's a group for inspiring women to create empowered in communities, which is needed now more than ever, right? So that's one of the things that you do at The Hive. You also provide support and experiences for women desiring connection, inspiration, accountability, and community. And you are part of a 4-season journey that offers coaching, support, and accountability for visionary women. So that's a lot. That's a lot. So let's talk about it, Ioana.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So those people that are watching and are wondering, what was the inspiration behind The Hive?
Okay. So I will start with a story. So the inspiration came, really The Hive was derived out of a desire and a passion to support women, create safe spaces for women. And 3 years ago, my husband and I, we were expecting, and very late in my pregnancy, we lost our baby girl, and it was a difficult time for us. But this is where it all began. And what I found was there wasn't much support for women like myself who had lost. There wasn't much support. Not a lot of women talk about it. And I was obviously very pregnant at the time, and a lot of people knew we were expecting. So a lot of women, acquaintances, family members, friends came up to me and they shared with me their story. And there were so many women who suffer from the same. And it was interesting to find that so many women were so quick to discount, oh, I was only, a few weeks in, or I wasn't as far along as you, and ready to discount their pain. And how so many of them, women very close to me, went through this tragic loss, and it's all been in silence. And so that's really been, that was the beginning stages of this passion that came up for me. And over the past 3 years, I've been doing a lot of, I've scaled back. I left my job, and I wanted to get in touch with what matters most, and which is my passion, and that's for creating safe space for women. So The Hive began about a year ago in October 2019. And my girlfriend Maylise and I, we were sitting at my dining room table. It's a huge dining room table, and whenever we get together, we just go off on what we want to create. And I had a pack of Post-its this thick. So I said, you know what, May, we're going to write everything down. You want to do this? Okay. You want to do this? Oh, you have access to this? Oh, we can partner with this. And then we started thinking, okay, our friend Vivian, she does marketing and sustainability. Then we think about our friend Mariana. And so the next thing you knew, our whole dining room table was covered with Post-its. Wow. Of ideas. And then we were like, this can go here. And so I decided, let's create an accountability group with 4 of our closest friends. So that's exactly what we did. We created a system. Every 2 weeks we got together. We had a Google Doc, and like, what do we want to create? What do you want to create? Embodiment courses, breath work. We can do this. Just one of our girlfriends was working on publishing her book. So we just wanted to support each other. And it started off as accountability for what we want to do, the doingness, getting it done. But then 2020 happened and a lot came up, and this for me personally has been the toughest year of my life. And it was really in that space. It was a safe space that we created with each other, where I was able to get very honest with the women and say, I'm having a really difficult time. I need support. And vulnerability is it's been a very challenging space for me. And at the time, I didn't realize that what I was creating was really, really, really safe space. And initially, it was more just accountability and getting stuff done. But we became that space where there was no judgment, and I could really honestly show up for as who I am, and the accountability came up more in the way of being like, who am I being, right? And my accountability to myself, and so that was such a powerful time. And so that I'd say for about 9 months we had it going strong, and in that time I started having dreams about bees, randomly, just dreaming about bees. And I didn't know much about bees at the time. I knew that the bees are struggling and that they're dying. I know that 90% of a hive, all the bees are female, essentially. So I'm sorry?
I said, right. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it, but it didn't really click. So my higher self is like, bees. So I started looking into bees and learning so much about them, and suddenly the inspiration started coming. And going back to my experience, the loss that I had, my husband and I had, and the loss so many women have had, that the shared loss, learning about the bees and the life cycle of a bee, and how the bees, a single bee herself, can seem insignificant by measure. Each bee makes only 1/12 of honey.
Wow.
But if every bee said, oh, well, I just make 1/12 of honey, how do I matter? None of it really takes, it's a collective force. And the life cycle of a bee is only 6 to 8 weeks. So the bees, when they forage, and when they nurse, or when they take care of the hive, they're doing it for the future of the hive. They're doing it for the collective. And that was so profound for me, because the bees, they're going to die knowing that they're not going to see the fruition of their hard work. And I realize it with the abundance and the prosperity that come with the hive, the honey, and the medicine, the propolis, which, by the way, is really great if you have a throat infection. Like, there's so much about a hive that's just so good for you. But with that, death, right? The death of a bee, and how death plays such a significant role in bringing bringing up life. One of my favorite quotes is from Larry Harvey. He's the man who invented Burning Man. And the quote is, communities are grown out of shared suffering. And that's exactly what was created, right? Like the desire, the passion, and the call to create space for women. And then also with 2020 and my 5 closest girlfriends creating the space. So anyways, so that's the inspiration. It came for the hive, and we created a system that worked. And we decided to share it with other women. So we launched the hive September of this year. We're not in 2021 yet.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you. We enrolled 12 women. We want to keep it 12. 12 is just a very special number.
So that happens to be my favorite number. That's exciting.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, it's a very special number. Yeah. You just finished 12 months of your lunar cycle. Now you're starting on your first.
True.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's really what the hive is so far. There are 4 seasons. So everything about the hive, the way we set it up, we look at the bees. We look at nature. How do the bees operate? What stage are the bees in? So there's 4 seasons. Season 1 is support and accountability, and we embody the element of fire. And the reason why we embody the element of fire is because when a larvae or nurse bee is born, the entire hive takes care of each other. Every bee takes care of each other, but it's up to that one bee to make her way to birth herself. It is up to her to break through. No one else can do it for her. It's up to her. And that's the element of fire. She breaks through that cell wall. She breaks through the wax, and she becomes one with the vibration of the hive, which is why we're called a high vibration. Bees don't have ears, they go by vibration. So,
when you're saying, for people that are watching, so when you're saying you have 4 seasons, so somebody that signs up to be a part of the hive, right? So you're going to keep it at 12 people. Then they're participate in the 4 seasons, or do they participate in 1 season? How does that work?
They would they would participate in 1 season. So it's a 4-part season. It's a 4 parts each a season. And whatever the woman feels called to. Obviously for season 2 and 3, you would have to complete the preceding seasons, but it starts with season 1. Yeah.
And you can really enroll for the whole year then.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Well, the first 2 seasons are 3 months, and the 3rd and 4th season are more project based. It's not necessarily a curriculum like we would have the 1st and 2nd season. And each season embodies an element, right? So the 1st season is fire, birth. The 2nd season is air. Now that you have your bearings up, we really hunker down on accountability. The 3rd season is earth. What are you going to create? It's a creative element of creation. And the 4th season is water, like flowing into community. And we have a system where Maylise, so there's 3 other women that administer the hive with me. 3 partners. There's 4 of us at our core.
And you
myself,
were friends, right?
I'm sorry?
You were all friends prior to this.
Yeah. So
these are around the big table with the sticky notes and vision, and you got all your friends on board.
Yeah, the 6 women that started it, 4 of us are the ones that are spearheading the expansion of this. So Maylise was the friend I did the Post-its with, the Post-it queen. She's our embodiment coach. Mariana Lopez, she's our accountability coach. The both of them essentially would be the face of the hive. When the women sign on, they would be the coaches and providing all the content. And then there's Vivian Belzagai, who does our marketing, our branding, the beautiful website that we have put together. She's a genius at it. And she also runs, her specialty, her niche is sustainability, which there's a strong overlap with bees and sustainability. And I have to say, there's no single part of our program or anything of what the hive is without the 4 of us. Each of us are so uniquely stamped in every part of it. Our logo are 4 hexagons. It really is a combination of the 4 of us, and you know, I feel in some way a little incomplete without having the 3 of them here with me, because we'll
have to have you back on again and have them all on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hive party. One episode on here, that'd be fun, right? To do that, and everybody could get to meet them too. And I think it's so important what you're talking about, because you're really embodying the integrity of women in community. You know, to me, you're an example of that, because you made sure that all of your friends were included there. You took all of your strengths, all of your greatness to come together, right? To manifest and create things, to give back to the world, give back to the communities. And you're a perfect example of having each other's back and wanting each other to succeed and using each other's strengths to make a difference, right? In our communities and the world. And that's a beautiful example of what you're standing for women in communities. So people that are watching right now, you know, when we're talking about accountability, we're pretty much saying that when you have a dream and you have a vision and you have a goal, it supports you to have people that have your back, right? And that are gonna not sell out on you, meaning like, if you say, oh, I don't feel like it today, you're gonna be like, hey, but you said you were gonna do this, and let's have it be done. And an important thing that I want to talk about too is that it's crucial what you're doing as far as the hive goes, because there is in the world of, now I'm a business owner and you're a business owner, right? Now, in the historical context of women, like way back in the day, we used to make sure that we helped each other out. You know, we raised a village, that whole thing, you know, and we would actually support and take care and nurture. And then time shifted to where we became really competitive. We became really competitive and catty, right? Like catty and putting each other down, and and wanting to one up the other person, or even as going as far as insulting other women. And I don't know if you want to speak into that a little bit, as to the importance of your niche as far as women goes, and having each other's back as far as businesses, communities, families. Like, what has that inspire you?
Oh, it's for me, my experience is we have a language amongst the four of us. We've all done very similar transformational training courses, and we have a language, and we have an understanding with each other, and we we found each other at points in our lives where it was we each of us have been burnt by another woman in the past, right? I've started other ventures, and I've dealt with the cattiness, and we definitely found each other in a space where we knew exactly what it is that we want to create, and we have this understanding, and we've had really harsh and honest conversations, and that's why accountability is so important, because we truly believe that, and we're called the high vibration. Maylise can't be on channel 5 and I'm on channel 105, and Maria's on 66 and Viv's on 16. Like, it just can't work like that. And we're so honest, and it's been very, very, very challenging, because um jealousy happens, right? And then sometimes it was like we all have our moments, and being real and honest with each other, and coming back to sisterhood, and what are we creating? Like, why are we doing this? And our passions, we just have such a strong, strong desire and passion to see each other, grow, to set each other up to win. It's this, there's nothing like sisterhood. There really is nothing like it. And as women, it's in our anatomy. I mean, there's a reason why, 5 girlfriends go to the bathroom. You don't find 5 men go to the bathroom together. We roam in packs. And it's looking past that. And for us, I feel, when I see, when each of us have an achievement, or when I feel like I'm winning, and we've really, by being honest and having open and honest communication, and really expressing and sharing how we feel, and being that safe space for each other to show up ugly sometimes, that's what makes the bond unbreakable. um, this has been the toughest year, the toughest year for me, and there is no way I could have seen myself making it through without having the support of these women. And that took me, like, getting past whatever stories I made up about what you could think about me, or whatever it is. Um, it's and women as a collective force, we're such nurturers. We're like the soil. We're so rich together. We're so rich. There's just so much there. So we would be robbing ourselves so much if we had cattiness in our space. That's
Yeah,
not the vibe. Not the
yeah,
vibe.
yeah. And it's refreshing, right? Because so many times, especially in women relationships, that we've got to be that safe space for people to be able to fully self-express themselves, right,
Mhm.
in a vulnerable way, like you're saying. So some of you that are watching might be going, oh, vulnerable, I don't like that, that means like open for attack. Yeah, but when we speak about vulnerability and like the work that like we're talking about, it's actually taking a risk and opening your heart, and sharing, knowing that you might get hurt, and you take that risk. But there's a beauty in that,
Mhm.
there's a beauty in that. And being that space to where women can make mistakes, women can fall down, pick themselves back up again, brush themselves off, have this little hive to say, hey, are you okay? What's going on with you? Like, seems out of character. What's going on? Or if somebody seems more emotional, you might want to be like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? And so it sounds like the hive is a safe space for people to be vulnerable and intimate and be able to share things that that maybe they can't share with their significant, other in a way that they want to, or a way their family member might not understand, or it might even create a space where people create that connection with women that maybe they thought they couldn't for a long time. Like I always tell a story that I always had a belief that I couldn't really click with women as far as friends go. Like that it was always I got along better with guys, or women didn't understand my personality and things like that, and I was challenged with that for years, until I broke through some of that. And now have I had my heart broken? Yes. Have I lost friendships? Yes. But it doesn't mean that I don't think that I can be friends with women anymore. To where before I would have been like, see, this is why I can't have women friends. But it's important to be able to identify those things. So it sounds like you're going to be an amazing space for people to look at themselves and grow and create the little hive, what do you
Yeah,
call it, the hive drive, and stuff like that, because it's so needed. And you said you have a daughter, right?
I do. She's
How old is
14.
your daughter?
She's 14.
Yeah, so like I'm sure she inspires you too for this. Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially at the age of, it's 14 is a challenging age for girls. She's at that point, and it's been, as her mom, I've respected her space, and she just knows I allow her to show up in whatever way she is. Sometimes she's like, I don't know why I'm crying, literally over spilled milk. I'm like, it's okay, just let it flow, let it flow. And sometimes she thinks, Mom, you're too loose, too flow, but she feels safe with me. And a lot of things are coming up, and she comes to me, and it's that again, going back to, it's that nurturing, it's that natural innate ability, for us to feel nurtured. And something I wanted to mention, I had read, there's a book I love, a lot of women probably know this book, it's called Women Who Run with the Wolves. And in the book, the author talks about the difference between, or the distinction between, comfort and nurture. And she talks about a plant. And a plant, I didn't know you can pet a plant, but apparently you can take a plant in the shade and pet a plant, or you can have the plant, take the plant, put it outside, let it feel the sun, let it feel the wind, let it be weathered. But that plant's going to grow in the sun, in the light, and and that's nurturing, right? And that is also why the safe space that we do create safe space, and there is comfort, but the nurturing comes from like the accountability, and that's why we say visionary women, because women, we're visionaries, we're creatives, we have within us the ability to create life, and to not hold ourselves small for it. And so, putting ourselves like, okay, all right, we're going to put you out in the sun, it's time to feel the heat, we've got your back, but like really, really holding ourselves accountable in that sense, not allowing ourselves to sell out on each other. And it's not always easy. It's not at
Oh,
all.
that's why we need the hive because it's not always easy,
Yeah.
and that book is amazing. I read that book like 4 years ago, and it's an amazing book. Women Who Run with the Wolves. Like if you're watching, and also if you're watching, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask or say, or any shout outs or anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll make sure that I read them, and we'll get your questions answered. And we are here talking about the hive. So now you said there's 4 other people. How many other people are part of the hive? 4.
So there's 4 of us. So 3 others, Vivian, Maylise, and Mariana.
Okay. So when you say hold each other accountable, right, and you're in this group together, so I hear there's really cool stuff that happens. Like there's movement, there's breath work, right? There's meditation. So why don't you talk a little bit about that stuff? So like when somebody signs up and becomes a member of the hive, like what are some of the modalities and things that like you step into?
Okay, so there is an application process because we are creating safe space for women, and it's a 4-part application process you can access on our website, hivevibration.com, and we everything is done with intention. We want to ensure that the women that we bring into this space, that they're all visionary women, and that and that everyone's there's cohesion. And so when you apply and you're accepted into the hive, we begin season 1, and it's 12 weeks. And every week you have content, and the content, we have 3 parts: get into the hive vibe, which is embodiment, meditation. Women get a hive journal, so we give you journal prompts. Maylise leads that. She's an embodiment coach, and it's fun. It is so much fun. She has us doing really, really fun exercises with drums, and Mariana's a breath work instructor, so she does.
Now, is this all on Zoom? This is all happening on Zoom.
All of it. Well, there's classes that we have, as well as we have a website where when you become a member, you log in, you have an account, and all of the content is available to you at any time. So it's on YouTube, or we just upload it. And then there's the honey work, where we have all the women put in what their visions are. So we have it set up where there's 3 domains. You have your career, or I have my career, my passion, and my relationships. And what do we want to achieve? We start you with, what do you want? Where do you want to be in 6 years in these 3 domains? Then we scale it down. We're like, okay, where do you want to be in a year in these 3 domains? Then 6 months, and then your season. And that's where the accountability comes in. And we help, okay, well, and our application asks these questions, like, what matters most to you? So we really study what you put forth in your application. We even ask you your horoscope, because we want to make sure that there's a real balance, right? We can't have 3 fire signs in the same small group, but we have the women.
I'm going to trust you on that one.
So we get very, very intentional, extremely intentional, because again, safe space. So we 12 women, 4 small hives, 3 in each hive, and every week, the first 3 weeks are going to be a collective call. All the women get together and we share, what is your vision? We help you figure out what your vision is, get very clear with it. And then every week there's a call. There's always a call. Every other week it's with a coach or with your small hive. And then every week you have your hive vibe, the meditations, the breath work. As a member of the hive, you get access to our embodiment, breath work, yoga classes, sambo classes. Mariana and Maylise, they do they're women of many talents, so they're always
they are amazing. These women that she's talking about that do this with her are phenomenal women who I happen to know all of them, and they're amazing. And I'm telling you, like, you've got to experience them, because they're absolutely phenomenal with their craft and in what they do. I just had to say that, because you're all phenomenal.
Yeah, they're it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And Viv, she's our sustainability guru. She actually just released a sustainability talk on TEDx Miami. So she's
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Viv. So we're all, and it's just, and everything about the hive is an expression of our true selves, of who we are. It's just who we are. It's our 1,000,001 post-its on one website. And we're going to start creating, we have a newsletter. We're going to start having hive talks. We're launching in 2021 with many different women. We have one coming up with Cristina Cansado about the 5 elements of Chinese medicine. There are different elements that we all are. I'm a wood type, so it's really, really good.
As well.
You're a wood type?
I am a wood type. Yep.
I'm not surprised.
I just did that in the quantum energy infusion class. I learned that I'm a wood type, so that was fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. I'm learning and growing right along with you.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because with certain types, you learn more about your body. Like, what is your default emotion, and where is that process in your body? And going back to Mariana, she's I call her, I'm Jamaican, and I call her my Jamaican because Jamaicans have 38 jobs. So she's my Jamaican sister.
And I am getting educated all night because I didn't know that either, but cool.
Yeah. So she also, she focuses on like she does Meridian yoga, and we bring all of that into the content, right? So as the women are, again, we're embodying the element of fire. So what are we burning through that's no longer supporting us, and recognizing where we hold certain emotions in our body, and like what are the movements, what are the exercises we can do to support us in releasing that. So there's so much. It's so like a hive. There's so much depth, and there's just so much diversity.
Well, there's a my experience of the hive is very graceful, and I say that because it's so enrolling. Like it's just so intriguing, and like how you said, it just exudes like a huge loving vibe tribe. Hive
Bad
vibe.
vibe.
Right, because like even like in your post and in your way of being and the way that you all carry yourself, it's just a very loving, like it doesn't surprise me that you create such a safe space because you're so inviting for vulnerability and love and connection. And for me, I get that you're doing this because you care, because that's important to me. Everyone that I have on my show, I don't want you on my show if you're committed to making money. I want you on my show because your heart, is in a good space for humanity and you care about people. And there is no doubt in my mind that you and the rest of your hive tribe, as I'm gonna call it, I don't know, like your hive tribe, right? That like your heart is for these women and for their families and for humanity. And I just want you to know that I get that without even being in the class yet. Like I understand that because all of your posts, all of your love, the way that you communicate and the way that you live your life, right? Like outside of your business is that authentic space of love and vulnerability. And I can't even imagine what gets created, and I know somebody that took it, in your first class, and she had a phenomenal experience, and was looking forward to it only all the time. And you created that safe space for people that maybe aren't so used to opening up, vulnerably. And so it's important. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what your levels are, like everyone is welcomed with an open heart. And I think that's really beautiful that you create that space. Now, Maureen Downs, she said, I want to be a bee. She said, I want to be a bee. So what? And then she's saying, so we'll give you that information. Go to the website, right? And we'll talk about that at the end, like how you can sign up, because we'll talk about that too, because the next one's coming up. And then she's saying, here's her question for you. What 3 top things have been your biggest takeaways from spearheading this? So she wants to know, what are your big 3 takeaways from spearheading the
Maureen.
You gotta love Maureen.
I love Maureen.
She's like a loyal watcher, man. Every week she's on here. She's so amazing.
Yeah, she's a bona fide. Maureen, I love you. I love you, woman.
Yes.
That's my Aries. She's my Aries. The first biggest takeaway is, I will say it again, the sisterhood. I thought that when we started this, we had a strong unit, but my God, the 4 of us, love, respect, Ubuntu, the value I see, news of value. It's just really, that's what it is, the sisterhood and the power and just that safe space. And the second is my sister. I have a twin sister who we've lived apart from each other for 13 years, and we're twins. And the Hive brought us together. She signed up, and it's our relationship is back to where it was before we were teens, like when we used to share the same bed. And then the third is that at my for me, it's the baby girl that we lost. Her name was Iris Sophia, and though she wasn't able to be living in the space that I would have wanted her, expected her to be, and I think she's very much alive because this is her legacy. And she, I do believe that this is a legacy of every woman who's lost, or the legacy of any, I would say for any as a mother, having lost her, and the other mothers who have held space for me. And this is for our babies, this is our children, because I do believe that, I know for a fact that this transpired in the way it did for that. So I do this, and I know I cannot, there is no failure, because this is me, this is her legacy. And I do believe that in life, in nature, and all things. You asked me for three. I'm going to give you four. Another takeaway is I realize that in nature there's so much that gets created, but not everything gets birthed, and that's okay. And there's a safe space for all of that. And the four of us are extremely creative, and the amount of ideas that we create, we probably have close to 1,000 written down, and only a small percentage of that actually gets birthed. But having that safe space and allowing the creativity to just happen, and just for it to flow, and acknowledging that there's a real beauty in that, and releasing ourselves from the expectations of like, oh, it has to happen, or it has to be this way because this happened, or like. So yeah, those have been really profound takeaways for me.
Well, thank you, and great question, Maureen. Wait.
Thanks, Maureen. Got me really deep.
And Alicia, what would you say to women, that are going through that same, circumstance of losing a child? Um, because I don't know what that's like. I've never experienced that, and sometimes it might be challenging for women like myself how to be with another woman without, um, you know, taking into their feelings. Like, you don't want to negate it, you know,
Yeah,
and you also don't want to skim over it, and then you also don't want to rescue, and
absolutely.
feel bad because you're powerful, and so what would you say to people, that are maybe going through the same thing that you did, that lost a child? And what would you say to other women, and what's the best way that they could be with somebody that's like going through that?
I would say be, pun intended, be, just be with them. There is no, for me, I've had women say, oh, well, you can have another. And it just being, um, be with them, hear them, and you don't have to understand. It's not, and you're not at fault for not understanding or not being able to sympathize or with their pain. Being in that space and allowing it, just allowing it, be the love, be the safe space, in whatever way that show, like whatever your love language is. Um, be a safe space. Hear, listen to them. Don't just hear them, um, because really, what supported me most was having other women. A lot of my friends are, I'm usually the anomaly. I'm usually the only mom in a group, and a lot of them didn't understand. Um, but just being with me and letting them know that I'm not alone. They love me. That's really what it is. Um, just be with them.
Yeah, and I think it's important what you're saying, because you might have heard me, I say this a lot, you might have heard me say it in trainings, and a lot of people hear and they don't listen. Like, we hear to respond.
Yeah.
So we hear and we immediately want to respond with fixing it, or soothing somebody. But what you're saying is really important, that we're a listening ear, for another woman to be able to run it and share their heart, and share what's on their mind. And there's such beauty and magnificence in the silence of
Hmm.
being in the space of another woman sharing vulnerably and intimately, and there's nothing you need to do. And that's when Alicia is saying be. We're saying that so many times as women and in our culture, we think we have to act and do something immediately in order to have a result that we want to have. But we're saying in the work that we do that you actually have to be and access certain attitudes that come with an essence of your being, and then with that you'll take certain actions and it'll guide you, and then you'll have results that you want in your life. And it sounds like that's a lot of the philosophy that is operating from the hive. And it's so important that we just be with each other,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how cool is it when a bunch of women can be in a room together, and one can be cooking, one can be reading, one one can be like, on the computer, and like being in that essence of, like you said, of the sisterhood. And there's been such stigmas lately in society, at least some things that I've run into, like of sisterhood. And now there's this whole toxic femininity thing. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this,
Mhm.
that people are talking about, and even the word feminism, like it's a bad thing. And I'm like, oh, you just don't understand it. Like you just don't understand it. Let's look at the root, let's look at the history, let's look at the word, and that's a whole other show, right? But like, there's a lot of people that sometimes resist that sisterhood, or that, I'm going to say, spiritual circle, like that some people might say, because they have a pre connotation of what they think it is, that, but everybody belongs here at the Hive. It's not
Mhm.
like, it's not a certain sexuality, it's not a certain, what your hobbies are, like what you do for work. Like you can be any woman in the world, right? And find a way to fit in. And so I think that that's important, because I know a lot of people sometimes are like, oh, that's sisterhood, that's that spiritual, we do this, we do that. Yeah, you might. And maybe it's not for you, but it's important, right, that women that come into this, come in with an open mind and open heart. And like you said, that's why it's so selective, to become a Hive member, because there are different women's groups out there, and you're going to find your tribe, but it's important that, as different, like, we're not putting each other down,
Mhm.
and it's important because it's just like relationships. One thing might not be a fit for you, like, but there's got to be a way for women that are in business, right, that are up to the same things, to be able to hear each other out, disagree, have different opinions, and still come together,
Mhm.
right? To create like harmony and peace, and actually say what we're up to. So what would you say, like, to anyone that's like, I kind of like to check out the Hive, but I don't think I fit in.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's going to be a big conversation for some
Yeah,
people.
it is. It is. And um, again, going back to the bees, right? We like how go back to the bees. So bees, bees need diversity. In order for a hive to thrive, diversity is so important. Pollinating from different types of flowers, it's just in order for the honey, the genes, diversity is important. And so for us, that's extremely important. We do have a selection process, but it is by we want to make sure that the women who are applying and coming into the space, that they are with women that can support them in the space that they're in, right? And that certain women, for instance, my sister's a designer. She wants to pursue her design, and so we wanted to pair her. And she's a new mom, so we paired her with moms who understand where she's at, and moms who are also business owners. So
Well,
that's what we mean by selection. Like, okay, like these women, because we really want, um, though we welcome, we there's no discrimination. We welcome anyone who identifies as a woman, but we also want to make sure that that space fits, right? Like it really, really, really does fit. Um, and in many times, I mean, we've had the diversity of women that was in the first season, and the women that are applying now. Oh my goodness, from all over, and the age spectrum, and just the cultural diversity. We thrive off of that, like the bees. We thrive. That's how we become rich in who we are, rich in our ability to serve each other and to support each other. And there's just so much that's brewing right now that I did not anticipate from the women who have joined, as far as just from political perspectives, and just new perspectives coming in that I had no clue would come from this. um, I'm so humbled. I'm having chills. I'm so humbled by it. So yeah, that's what we mean by selection. As far as we really want to set the women up with the right other women, so that they do feel supported. Everyone feels supported by each other.
yeah, and I love that, because it's almost like a personal structure, that you look at each different season, you put people together where they're going to get the maximum amount of benefits and results. So that's beautiful. And so you said earlier, that you have a new season beginning right soon.
Mhm.
So when does that begin, so our viewers can
Yeah. So our second enrollment for season 1 is February 1st, 2021, and we made the date very easy for you to remember, 2/1/21.
Ah, I dig it.
Yeah, so easy. So that would be a Monday. I believe it's a Monday. But open enrollment begins January 1st. We're going to have Meet the Hive calls. So the calls are on the 13th and the 19th. I believe that's a Wednesday and a Tuesday. We'll be posting it. If you go to our website, just sign up. You'll get the emails. And it's an hour Zoom call, and the 4 of us will be on there: Mariana, Melise, Vivian, and myself. And it's an experiential call. So you get to come on, learn about us. We have a connection. It's experiential. So I won't give it away because you have to come on and experience it.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
know all about that. Can't give it away. Got to come on experience.
No, you gotta come on. You gotta come
All
on.
about that. Yeah. So why don't you give what's the website again?
Hive Vibration.
Hivevibration.com.
Hivevibration.com. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you can scroll. So the other web, I'm so proud of the website. Viv does such a great job with it.
Just go check it out. You know, search that up on Google for them. Hit it up. Go there every day and search it.
Yeah, click around. There's a little hidden button. Like, just go to the website and there's buttons that may not look like buttons. Just click them and they'll take you to a whole other page. And we created that page with so much intention, and it's so pretty and beautiful. And it has everything, all our ethos, our principles, what we stand for. It's everything. We really put a lot of work into it.
It is beautiful. I checked it out and looked it all over, and it's gorgeous, and that's amazing. And now, do you have like an Instagram or Facebook or anything like that where they can check you out?
Yeah, we do have an Instagram, Hive Vibration. The Instagram, we're going to start creating more content for it. The Instagram has the 6 original women that joined, little snippets about who we are, and I intend to add more of the women that have joined since. But yeah, I would say the best way to follow us is to sign up for our newsletter, or just sign up on the website. You'll be getting our newsletter. And we have a Facebook page, but we're more Instagrammers.
Yeah, I get it. And I know I'm learning the whole Instagram. I was on Owen, who was watching, I think, one of my college friends. He has a show, and I did my first Instagram show, and I'm like, I don't know how to work it. So I'm learning. But I totally checked out your Instagram, and I've been sharing the stuff there, and I love those write-ups. Like, I read them all. I read them all about like all the women. I'm like, oh my God, you all did such a great job writing those up. So I can't wait to see more of your content, because you know what I love about this is, I always say, and please take this with all, you're like in your infancy stage, and I think that's so exciting, right? So like, here you are, and I'm so excited to have you on here tonight, because here you are in your infancy stage, and then before you know it, I'm going to be like, man, remember when you were on my show and you were just starting out and you had your first 12 women, and then like it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and like I'm picturing in my mind like this giant hive of women, like all over the world, right? That like, and think about that, like it came like to fruition during a pandemic, right? And like that's what launched it and all of that, like if you think about it. But it's just so cool. I love interviewing people like you that are just starting out, because holy cow, can you imagine what's going to come and create, like, once you just keep going and evolving and all of that stuff. Like, you've got to be so excited right now.
Oh yeah, we're so excited.
So it's like that childlike wonder. That's where you're in right now,
Yeah, definitely. This is my first time talking about the hive. So
oh yeah, I feel so special.
Oh my God, yes, of course. And I will say this, I didn't mention this earlier, but I'll mention it now. And our intention with the hive is, we want all the women to come back. Community is such a big part. We inspire women to empower their communities. So when a woman, a newbie, you come in as a newbie goes through the whole process, these women have the opportunity to come back. They have an opportunity to come back and coach and get paid for it, to support the season 1 women. And that's how we grow as a hive, because we want to be able to walk away from this and have it self-sustaining, where women are enrolling each other and taking care of each other and coming back, and everyone wins. It's a hive. Everyone gets honey.
That's right. So, and it's sweet. Who doesn't love some honey sticks and some honey in their tea and honey? And when you think about it, like we talk about all the time, like save the bee. It's a real thing, right? That like people don't understand that without the bees, there's a lot at stake. And I love the analogy that you said with the women, that like one bee thinking it doesn't matter, it's not going to roll like that, right? Like we need all bees to matter, and like they need to exist on this planet and in this earth for everything to thrive, you know, and flow, like in that harmonizing flow. And it's the same thing for women. And I love what you're up to. I love that you came on here this week, and I want you to know that like I got your back. You know, you let me know if there's any, like, if all of you want to come back on my show, I'm down with it, right? Like if you want to come down, like once your other thing gets started and you want to start up another season, like how fun would that be to have all of you on here?
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be
and like
amazing.
we could do like a little show and see where you're at, you know, see where you're at like at that point and all of that. So we'll bring the whole hive on here and have a grand old, you know,
That would be
interview show.
awesome. It would be very loud with a lot of laughter, which laughter is the best medicine.
It's
So
okay.
yeah.
I've been told that I laugh too much and I'm very loud, so I think I'll fit right in. I think it'll be great.
This is me being quiet. Okay, I think
This is me subdued, because everyone's always like, whoa, energy, and I'm like, hey, you've seen nothing, people. Like this is me. Yeah.
it's our wood types. We're wood types.
Is that what it is? All right.
That's
yeah, I
what
guess
it
more
is.
about this wood stuff, because I'm just learning, because I'm a fire sign, right? Like in astrology.
Sagittarius. Okay.
Yeah, and then I just learned that I'm a wood sign, and I'm like, fire and wood, two of my favorite things. You know, like I guess I got to learn more about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't know it even existed. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and wood grows. Wood always moves forward and never moves back. A tree always grows forward. So forward, and fire. That's a beautiful combination, by the way.
Thanks.
Powerful.
I'll learn more about it, but I'm gonna take your word on that for the week. So again, we're at 7:53, so we're gonna head out of here, and I want to thank everybody for watching Alive with Chris Austin, illuminating humanity. And thank you for joining in our episode. And make sure that you go and check out the website, go to Instagram, because eventually there's going to be more content. You know, support anywhere you can. You know, check it out, stay involved. You know, and remember that it's important to have each other's back as women, and it's important to be able to fall down, pick yourself up, and come back together as women in a community and say, it's okay. I've got you, and be the work and move forward and all of that stuff. And so I want to thank you all for watching tonight. And, you know, the best way that you can support both of us is share this on your pages, share it with somebody that you think would be interested in learning about the hive, or, you know, invite them to my page, Alicia's page, to really support us, because that's a way that you can have our back. And then the way you can have my back is tune in to the show every single week, and I'll show you what we're up to. And I have amazing people. Then I also have a personal development and leadership training center that I am a co-founder of, AMP Trainings. So, and there's going to be exciting news coming with that in the new year. So stay tuned, a little teaser there. You know, and check us out and support women that are business owners and making a difference in the world. So Alicia, thank you so much for being on here tonight. And I wish you well in everything that you're up to. And I adore you. And I love what you're up to, and all of your hive. Make sure you send love to all of them.
I will definitely. And they'll be watching this. Thank you so much, Chris. I wish you all the best for 2021. Let's make some honey.
Let's do it. All right. We love you. All right. Ciao, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.